Welcome to this explainer. Have you ever just caught yourself staring at the ceiling, worrying about tomorrow, constantly checking your bank app, stressing over the bills piling up, and just wondering if you're going to have enough to get by? Well, today, we're diving deep into the true mechanics of wealth and sustenance based on this source material. We're going to see if we can totally shift our perspective away from that exhausting daily financial anxiety and uncover a much more profound understanding of divine provision. So let's just jump right in.
It really makes you wonder, right? Why is it that some people seem to just effortlessly thrive, while others literally break their backs day in and day out and still struggle to make ends meet? Is making a living really just a simple product of, grinding 24/7? Or is there actually a hidden master plan, like a whole set of spiritual mechanics operating behind the scenes that we are just completely missing?
To figure that out, we actually need to hit pause and fundamentally redefine what it is we're looking for. In the Islamic tradition, the concept of sustenance, which is known as rizqi, isn't just about cash in the bank. Actually, scratch that. It's not even mostly about money. It's incredibly vast. It's an all-encompassing provision that includes your physical health, your peace of mind, having a harmonious family, and even just having blessed, free time. It's the whole shebang. And once we shift our focus to this holistic well-being, absolutely everything changes. Because you realize this all-encompassing sustenance comes directly from a divine source.
To put this into perspective, the sources offer this beautiful, simple parable about a bird. Think about it. A little bird leaves its nest in the morning with an absolutely empty stomach. It flies out into the total unknown, but it returns in the evening completely full. It doesn't have a corporate job, right? It has no savings account, no 401k. It's this powerful, living proof that the Creator actively provides for His creation. The divine guarantee is absolutely there. But, and this is a big but, notice that the bird still has to actually leave the nest. The daily effort is still required.
Okay, moving on to Section 1, the 3 formulas of sustenance.
According to the analysis of scholars in the source material, there are essentially 3 core formulas of how this works. Number 1, your sustenance is guaranteed the very moment your effort comes out. When you physically step out your door, resume in hand, looking for work, that action triggers the release of your provision. Number 2, it's never swapped or mixed up. There are literally no wrong addresses in the divine system. If it is meant for you, there's no way it's going to accidentally go to your business rival. And number 3, the amount of actual blessings, or barakah, baked into that sustenance is determined directly by your level of faith.
And we can ground this first formula directly in Scripture. The Quran, in chapter 51, verse 22, states that your provision is already established in heaven. Think about that. It's already locked in from above. It's basically just waiting for us to take that vital first step of effort to go and retrieve it. So it's never a matter of if it will come, but when and how, which is largely based on our intentions.
Which brings us to Section 2, the scriptural guarantees.
Look at this fascinating verse from Surah Hud. And there is not a single creeping creature on earth, but Allah guarantees its sustenance. I really want you to let that sink in for a second. Every single living, creeping thing on this planet is guaranteed its provision. This level of absolute certainty is designed to urge us to replace our exhausting worldly financial anxiety with a profound sense of spiritual trust. And looking at how this maps out, it's incredible to see the dynamic relationships at play here. The texts show us exactly how specific human actions act as keys to unlocking different avenues of wealth. If you take the physical action to walk the earth and strive, the promise is that you will eat of His sustenance. If you practice devotion, you're promised a way out of difficulties and unexpected provision. And simple gratitude, that results in a direct, literal increase in favors. It's a highly active, two-way relationship.
But there's a flip side. Let's look at Section 3, the trap of worldly greed.
The contrast here is incredibly stark. If you're out there working purely with the intention of gathering up worldly wealth, well, worldly rules are going to apply to you. You might get rich, for sure, but it's exhausting and it's temporary. It inevitably leads to endless hoarding, and the satisfaction fades so quickly. But compare that to seeking divine pleasure through your work. That path leads to genuine blessings, profound peace of mind, and an eternal reward that totally outlasts this fast, fragile world we live in.
The source material gives us this insanely vivid analogy to explain this. Imagine someone obsessively hoarding enough firewood to fill 10 entire mosques. Just a mountain of wood. But in reality, to keep themselves warm, they only ever use a single piece of wood a day. Right? What is the actual point of all the rest of it? It's an almost comical illustration of how futile it is to hoard wealth you're never going to use. Unchecked worldly desire doesn't actually satisfy the soul. It just makes you want to compare your bank balance to your neighbors without adding any real value to your actual life. Now, hear me out, because this doesn't mean the tradition demands poverty. Not at all. Check out this staggering number, 14,000 trillion. Yeah, trillion with a T. That represents the estimated historical wealth of one of the Prophet's companions, Abdurrahman bin Auf, when you calculate it in today's terms. So the key takeaway here is that immense wealth is not forbidden. In fact, it can be an absolute game changer for doing good in the world, provided it's firmly anchored in faith and used for a higher purpose.
And look at his journey. Abdurrahman bin Auf didn't just inherit this or stumble into it. Initially, he was stripped of everything he owned. He walked 400 kilometers with absolutely nothing to his name, but he leveraged his faith, he learned to trade as a simple market distributor, and he rebuilt his life from scratch. And he eventually became this staggeringly wealthy individual who was literally guaranteed heaven. It's a huge reminder that sometimes getting denied a job or facing a major financial setback isn't a rejection at all. It's a divine setup. It's meant to forge your resilience so you can actually handle the massive blessings coming your way later on.
Okay, Section 4. 4 paths to abundance. Let's get practical.
So how do we tap into this? The texts outline 4 primary paths. Number 1 is effort, meaning actively working legitimate halal professions. Number 2 is obedience. Drawing closer through your worship and your honesty at work literally opens doors that seem locked. Number 3 is charity. And number 4 is prayer, which is essentially the believer's direct bridge to miracles. But I really want to zoom in on that third path for a second.
Look at this verse from Surah Saba. It highlights this beautiful, almost mind-bending paradox about charity. Whatever you spend, Allah will replace it. Giving doesn't shrink your wallet. It actually acts exactly like a planted seed that multiplies over time. The sources constantly remind us that the hand that gives is better than the hand that receives. Sometimes we feel like we don't have enough to give, when in reality, our sustenance feels so tight precisely because we're too afraid to share what little we have.
Which brings us to the final piece of the puzzle. Section 5, the ultimate goal, barakah. Barakah, this is the secret sauce. It's when a seemingly small amount of income just feels perfectly sufficient. It miraculously covers all your needs, and most importantly, it brings deep peace to your home. That is barakah. And it totally elevates a modest, quiet life way above a billionaire's life that's just drowning in anxiety and greed. This explains why you see people with very small incomes who just radiate happiness, while others with massive empires are consumed by stress. It's never just about the amount of money, it's entirely about the blessing inside it. To really ground ourselves in this concept, the sources point to a profound hadith. It says that while we are still in the womb, before we've even taken our very first breath in this world, an angel records 4 unchangeable things about our timeline: our sustenance, our death, our deeds, and our ultimate woe or happiness. Your exact sustenance was lovingly, perfectly written before you were even born. It's not going to pass you by.
So, I want to leave you with this deeply personal question to chew on. If your provision is already guaranteed, and your daily effort is really just the key to unlock it, is the sustenance you seek simply waiting for you to change? Are your intentions straight? Are you grinding just for the world, or are you working for the pleasure of the divine? I challenge you to look inward today and see if you can totally transform your spiritual approach to life's wealth. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this gives you a fresh perspective on your daily grind.